few characteristics of a developed consciousness. First of all, let me explain what a developed consciousness is. There is, as human beings, we're adapted to take control of our environments. And consciousness is something that develops. It's actually an emergent property of language and of obviously our large brains and our social structure that we have, all that stuff. And the reason why we develop consciousness is to be able to handle the abstractions that we have around us as human beings. So consciousness is something that can be developed and something that has to be developed in order to adapt to a more advanced civilization. So there are three things that come to mind that really indicate someone who has a developed consciousness. One of which is that you don't ever separate any of your thoughts from time. So whenever you're planning to do something, or you have a series of things that you want to do, you have you associate that with the amount of time that it's going to take. So you don't separate your actions or your plans or something that something you want to do or what you need to do with the amount of time that it takes. So you measure everything in time. You don't lose track of the amount of time that it takes you to do something. All these things, or these characteristics, are not separated from time. Another characteristic of a developed consciousness is that you don't lose track of the big picture. You're always looking to produce a specific result, and you're not worried about trying to prove yourself right. You're not trying to. You don't have to go out and have something to prove. So, you don't get into arguments with somebody that it's not going to lead anywhere. You're not trying to, prove something to a bunch of people by keeping up with the Joneses or anything like that. You don't do things because other people do them and try to fit in. Which brings me to my third point, is that a developed consciousness is one that's very independent-minded. In other words, if you have a developed consciousness, you're very independent. You don't rely on the thoughts of other people because you can produce your own thoughts. You have a goal in mind. You consider yourself completely responsible for that goal, and so you don't try to conform to something that isn't logical. Let's say, it's St. Patrick's Day and everybody wants to wear green. I'm not saying that you can't have fun with it, but you don't feel the need to do that. Of course, that's kind of a dumb example. Another example is you're at a party and everybody's drinking alcohol. You don't feel the need to drink alcohol because everybody else is. You have a very independent mind. You're thinking, okay, I don't need to be hungover the next morning because I have things that I need to do. I don't care what other people are doing. I can have a good time, without drinking alcohol. So that's another example of another characteristic of a developed consciousness. A characteristic of a less developed consciousness is lack of impulse control. And so that's like, an undisciplined behavior, something that is taking away from your goals, something that you feel is a compulsion to do. That's, the opposite of producing a result. That's, being impulse driven, losing track of time, obviously. And another characteristic is relying on the thoughts of other people to do the thinking for you. That's a characteristic of a less developed consciousness.